Hi, this is Jing again with the Bali Business Review. Today I'll be filming from our lovely office here in Puttagading and Jimbaran. So come with me today as I take you through and show you my predictions for what I think are some important trends in how the Bali real estate market will evolve from 2025 to 2026. On this episode, I'll be sharing some specific information gathered from records of data, but also using some really strong AI methods to make some predictions about what the future of Bali might hold. Stick around on this one if you don't want to miss important tips if you're building a property or if you're planning to release your property in the next 6 months or so, because this might be a helpful way for you to avoid falling into any pitfalls or any particular mistakes that previous investors have made based on evidence and data that we've gathered here at Bukit Vista. Come along inside, I'll show you. It's coming close to the end of 2025, and as part of our winter regular updates, we give a prediction about what we think is going to happen next year in 2026. So before we look, let's say, into the future, maybe it's worthwhile to take a look into the past. Our predictions about a few different topics have actually come to pass, such as the prediction about oversupply in the marketplace. Well, it doesn't require too much examination to see that is just simply self-evident now. You can see from some of these videos taken overhead across drones in different parts of Bali that there is far more properties being built these days than at any time previously in Bali. And the key performance indicators and the proxy indicators at construction sites and at construction supply shops do all indicate that construction is not likely to stop or slow down in the next 6 months to a year. However, before we go any further, I think it might be worthwhile to take a look at a structured approach towards what the future might look like. And with any structure, I think it helps to actually take a look at some of the biggest factors that do affect property performance and rental performance. And we'll start with the first one. Let's start with the core concept first. The most important thing for any property owner to pay attention to on a day-to-day basis is not to track the flight arrival numbers, is not to track how many new properties are being built in their neighborhood. The most important part of any day-to-day management is to understand something about the relative positioning of your competitiveness in the niche of travelers that you're looking to serve. This can be called many different things, but can be actually encapsulated in a concept called ranking. Some might call it ranking, some other people might call it brand, but simply what it means is that you're able to distinguish yourself by the reviews and by the quality of how you deliver a satisfactory or superlative guest experience. Now, once you understand the lens of ranking, then a lot of things start making better sense. It is not a democracy, or it's not communism in terms of the way marketplaces here in Bali works, which means that depending upon a property, a listings ranking, a location's ranking, you will get performance beyond what you might expect as an average or below average player in the marketplace. And we'll go into the factors that affect ranking in this analysis and update on future trends that we're seeing. So perhaps we should begin first by talking about properties. Property attributes are a very strong trend that needs to be dealt with. One of the most important breakdowns of property attribute can be broken into two factors. One is the location grade, and the second is the design grade. And so what exactly are the trends that we're seeing in design, and what are the trends that we're seeing in location? Design, obviously by now, if you haven't noticed, the white Mediterranean look and the single unit pool villa and the townhouse sliced bread complex, which is basically a large rectangular building that's been divided into slices of adjoined townhouses with individual pools. This has become a very commodified design. About 2 years ago, investors would come right here to the Bukit Vista office and ask me, Jing, what kind of properties should we build? And I told them two very simple concepts that they should follow. The first thing is they should build fewer bedrooms, because fewer bedrooms is a long-term trend. Group sizes are continuously shrinking. Simply put, you can take a look at every nation that feeds into Bali and you'll see that their population pyramids are inverting, which means that in the future, there will be fewer people traveling with families, fewer people traveling with children. So the demand for larger bedroom units, 3, 4, 5 bedroom units, is diminishing. we've been seeing a lot of, let's say, low season suffering for these type of properties and lower return on investment, not because they're bad properties, but just because they have poor product market fit. So in that particular dimension of design, we are seeing consistency. There is going to be smaller and smaller group sizes that will arrive in the next year and in the foreseeable future. The increase in solo Gen Z travelers is something that is well documented too by some of our interviews and some of our field explorations across this year. So count on seeing more solo type travelers coming to Bali for perhaps longer periods of time. Now, the designs that we see that are really leading edge are those of a return to, of course, using more eco-sustainable materials. There's some cutting edge work being done by architects such as Charlie Hearn, such as Pablo that are really pushing the envelope on this idea of holistic design and integration, of using sustainable materials like bamboo, of using materials that pay homage to Balinese culture and craftsmanship, and they fit cohesively to their environments. The hideout might be worthy of mention here at Sidaman for exceeding all expectations and becoming a truly incredible hotspot and making fantastic return on investment since I've been watching it. They are charging up to about $300 to $400 a night, sometimes as high as $500, and based on our analysis, they seem to get that consistently across almost every single day of the year. People seem to be voting with their wallets. The evidence does show still that structures that are in harmony with their natural surroundings by presenting a holistic experience of which the structure and the environment around it presents a cohesive experience to the guests. These tend to also be the highest return on investment properties. I find this sometimes ironic as many partners here at Bukit Vista are Balinese, yet will adopt a Western slash and burn, bulldoze everything approach. Let's pivot over to the second discussion about location in terms of the property attribute. Every property has a design and it also has a location, as winners and losers have essentially been, I guess, different than previous years. Of course, there is a huge amount of new construction and development happening along the periphery of the core tourism zone, which you could say is probably around the Kuta Seminyak area. We're seeing expansion in all four directions around Ubud. We're seeing further westwards expansion past Peranan, slowly but surely towards Tabanan. And of course, we're seeing a proliferation of construction all throughout different areas across the Uluwatu Bukit area as well. There's been some good news in terms of the government and its approach towards fostering this growth. We've also seen the improvement in infrastructure, which means that more roads have been sealed and newly constructed, and this is positive for growth and we think alleviation to traffic congestion as well. There's also been an incredible amount, I think, of effort spent into reducing government bureaucracy. I almost feel a little bit bad in my Halloween episode for casting the government as a mummy bureaucracy that is become almost a legacy of the past rather than something of the future. Up and coming locations that seem to have experienced some unexpected growth is, of course, up in the north near Ahmed and Sidaman, of course, and we also see some growth over here that is edging slowly and surely back to Nusa Penida and perhaps even Lombok as well. Lombok has been kind of a sleeper. For one reason or the other, there just hasn't been that pickup in acceleration there, and I probably owe Lombok a visit in the near future to see on the ground what's exactly happening there. Let's segue into the next super category that affects ranking as well. The overall determination of your position in ranking will ultimately be decided not just by your location, not just by your design, but how both of these factors combine to create an excellent guest experience. So, what are some trends likely to emerge in 2026 that will disrupt or displace the past trends we've seen in 2025? The competition is getting more fierce in the next year and years to follow, and we're seeing some incursion from the traditional hospitality industry. Hotels are coming back. So, for a very long time, guest houses, smaller apartments and villas in the periphery were on a runaway streak by gaining a lot of the younger travelers. But these days, older hotels, such as those on Sunset Road and those in Kuta and Seminyak, have decided that it no longer pays to actually ask for such high rates. And they're willing to discount up to 50 to 60 to 80% below what rates were back in the early 2020s. So this amount of fairly aggressive pricing by hotels is a very interesting development. We're seeing also hotels lean away from luxury. If you go to any hotel these days, you'll find that the majority of the staff are not trained seasoned professionals. They're actually mostly underpaid daily workers. The modern day traveler has less and less interest in actually paying for attendance and service and these type of traditional, let's say, extra humans to be around in the hotel in exchange for a better rate. Competition is most likely going to be more aggressive in 2026, considering also that the overall demand this year has not risen in the same speed that the overall supply has risen in. Now, maybe there's some good news or bad news with the supply, but there have been quite a lot of large dramatic failures of large developments. This is a relief, of course, to high performance properties in the marketplace because this means that there will be fewer competition coming from new entrants. Rise in competition is going to grow significantly in 2026. And there's a few general macro indicators that indicate this. Number one is that the captive audience effect that accommodation providers enjoyed for the past 3 decades is going to be challenged by young entrepreneurs who are going to be trying to take a slice of the traveler budget. The traveler staying at your hotel, at your burial complex, might decide to leave the free breakfast option offered in-house to go and eat a croissant at a trending viral TikTok cafe next door. The expensive gym that you put into place in your resort might be abandoned by a small, more local gym hosted by a so-called spiritual leader leading the wellness community. Ignore the rise of competition at your own discretion, but we think that essentially looking at the abundance of skilled labor that is coming to Bali, the abundance of domestic locals who cannot find jobs and have to go into entrepreneurship, we think that this will rise in significant competition to, once again, gain access to the traveler budget. So if you're an accommodation provider, think of a strategy to either coexist or outcompete with other contenders in your neighborhood who are not just competing for accommodation, but also competing for your guests' decisions for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and what they do in between. All right, guys, I stayed up all night to produce this episode, and that's it. So I'll be taking a few weeks off, the next few weeks, to travel and explore the world. I'll be returning back to California, my original birthplace, and exploring how the world of artificial intelligence will affect Bali in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of how AI will have impact on the Bali real estate marketplace. Stay tuned for my next update, which will reappear in California.